Hi students. Students, can you see the screen? My screen. Students, today we are going to discuss about what is Django, then what are the features, and then we'll discuss about the client side and server side technologies, like what is the use of them, and after that we are going to discuss about the other concepts. So like I want to tell about myself. So I'm Wilson, and I'm into this teaching field from the last 15 years, and I'm teaching this Python and Django from last 7 years I'm teaching here. And what all examples you'll see in Django, so all will be the real-time examples only. Because before this Python and Django, so I used to teach .NET, Java, all this. So I will be knowing the programmers' requirements, developers' requirements, or I know what is used in websites. So related to the concepts wise and all, so I will give complete clarity about the topics what we are discussing here. So here when we say about the course duration and course contents, so Django I'm going to take for 2 months. So for 2 months I'm going to take Django, and after that the project also will be there. So Django with project. Okay, so Django with project will be there here. And when we say about Django with the project, it will be like for 1 week or 10 days. And it is like what all we use in real time projects, all we are going to implement in that is for practice, like to know how the projects are developed in real time. So with the help of the project what we discuss in the class, then you can easily handle the other projects. So in my classes, in all the within 2 months, what we are going to discuss is so here we are going to discuss about Django features, then like design patterns. We'll see design patterns. We are going to discuss like MVC, MVT, and we'll see what is the use of design patterns, what is the use of using design patterns while developing the websites, what is a model, view, template, what is a three-tier n-tier architecture, what is the latest approach in software development, like all these we are going to discuss. And here when we say about after this we'll see what is virtual environment, like why we should work in virtual environment in Django projects. So here like when you work with Python, you'll work in physical locations like a C drive, D drive installation. But in Django, we'll do all the examples in virtual environment, because in real time when we deploy it, so when we deploy the project in internet servers, so when we see the hosting or deployment, there also we need to create virtual environment. So when we see the deployment procedure, not just deploying the website, so we have to create virtual environment. We have to store the we have to install Django, Python related packages, Python packages, then database, then database connectors. Connectors means again they are packages only. All these we need to use it. Okay. So here we'll see how to work in virtual environment. Like other faculties, when you attend other classes, what they'll do is they will give all the examples in system folders in C drive, D drive, like that. Like when it comes to hosting, when it comes to deployment, at the time they'll say what is virtual environment in real time, why it is used, like that. But in my classes from the beginning, from day one, like from the first example, I'm going to show you how to work in virtual environment only, because that will be very useful when you're deploying, when you're hosting website in internet servers. And here we'll see Django installation, then creating creating project, creating applications. So creating applications means we are going to use creating applications means here we are going to use creating applications means creating websites. Okay, so we'll see how to create applications. And here I'm going to use Sublime Text IDE. I'm going to use Sublime Text IDE, integrated development environment. So here we can see many IDEs are there, like we can see Spider is there, PyCharm is there, Atom is there, like many are there. Like I will show like how to use Django in different IDEs, not just one IDE. In different IDEs I'll show you. And after that we'll discuss about multiple applications in the project, multiple websites in the project. And application level, here we have project level URLs, application level URLs will be there, that we are going to see. And here you can see templates are there here. So templates means we'll say HTML files, creating HTML files we'll see. Like in HTML files we are going to use HTML, HTML5, JavaScript, CSS, jQuery, Bootstrap, DOM, like all these we are going to use here. Okay, all these we are going to use. And here when we are working with HTML files in Django, in my classes, we are going to focus on designing and coding. Okay, so when we say about designing, then we should use all the UI technologies like HTML, HTML5, JavaScript, CSS, jQuery, Bootstrap, DOM. All these we need to use. Okay, so here we are going to use all these completely in Django, because if the pages are there, okay, with the required information, then we can do coding. Okay, so here we are going to focus on designing and also coding. So when it comes to designing, all these will be there. And here we are using template tags. Template tag code is there, Jinja 2 code. So template tags and template tag code is used to display dynamic data here. So whenever you want to send data to the server, whenever you want to access the data from the server, then we can use template tags, template tag code we are going to use here. Okay, so later I'll tell clearly like what are template tags, what is a template tag coding. So it is a new here. Jinja 2 is a new language that we are going to use. And using Jinja 2, we'll see many examples. Okay, and here we are going to work with the models, and then we'll discuss about Django forms, creating the web pages with controls using so models means creating the tables using Python code. And Django forms means creating web pages with the controls using Python code. And the model forms is there, creating model forms, creating forms connecting to the database. Like all these we are going to discuss. And then here we are going to discuss about advanced template features. We are going to discuss advanced template features means we are going to discuss about we are going to discuss about template inheritance, then template filters, custom filters, template tag for code for URLs. All these are there. Advanced model features are there. Advanced model features means we'll discuss about model inheritance. Then we'll discuss in inheritance, we'll discuss about abstract base class inheritance, multi-table inheritance, multi-level inheritance, multiple inheritance, proxy model inheritance, After inheritance, we'll discuss about model manager, custom manager, all these are there. So in security, we'll discuss about working with the login page, registration page, then managing the users, giving permissions, all these will be there. And session management is there, like maintaining the information using cookies, then URL writing, hidden fields, session object, all these are there. And next, we are going to discuss about class function based views, performing CURD operations, create, retrieve, update, delete on tables, like adding records, viewing, editing, deleting records, all these. Class-based views, performing CRUD operations, and working with middleware services. So we'll see how to create a middleware service, how it is used. And here we are going to use ORM, object relational mapping. Okay, so in like those who know Python, see students, those who are attending class today. So to learn Django, students should know Python, at least core Python. So if you know core Python, then you can attend Django classes, because Django is a framework completely developed in Python. So Django contains Python files or modules or libraries are there. So when we say about framework, frameworks are developed in programming languages like Python, Java, C Sharp, and .NET, like that. So in Python, many frameworks are there. So one of the framework is Django is there. Okay. So when you are learning Python, then core advanced Python, so you will learn database programming, like PDBC, Python database connectivity you will learn. So in PDBC, you will learn about SQL commands. Okay, using SQL is used, like select, insert, update, delete, create, alter, drop, all these. Okay, and here we are not going to use SQL commands here. So here we are going to use ORM, object relational mapping. Means here we are going to write Python code, and that Python code is converted to SQL commands, and they are executed in the database. All this is done. See, this is not a difficult subject. Okay, so because with Python code we are doing everything here. Okay, and next is Django REST API also we are going to discuss. So we'll see many examples using Django REST API. So REST API means we'll say representational state transfer application program interface. So we are creating what web service here. Web service we are going to create. So when we work with internet, in internet we can see websites and we can see web services also. Okay, so every time we are going to talk about only websites. So in internet we can see websites and also web services will be there. So web services we can call in. So web service we can call in websites. Okay, so we can say like RESTful services. Will say REST API means we'll call it as RESTful API or RESTful web services. Okay, so when we say web service, so it is a program that we can use it in websites. So that program can perform any task, like sending emails or SMS to the users, or it can do payments. Depends on the requirement, web services are used. So when we create a RESTful service, web service, or REST API, when we create, it is not for Django website. So we can call it in Java website, and we can call it in like a .NET website. In any website, that service we can use it. Okay, and it can be used in any device. We can use it in any device. Okay, like we can use it in smart TV, smartphone, smartwatch, like a drone. Anywhere we can use the service here, web service, we can use it. And we can access in Android, iOS we can use. Anywhere it will works here. So web service we can call in any website, in any application, in any device it will works. That is the main use advantage. like for cross language communication, we can use it. We'll see many examples in Django REST API. Okay, and next web hosting also will be there. So here we'll see how to do hosting, web hosting, publishing website in publishing website in internet. Okay, so here once if you know how to do hosting, the same procedure we can follow in other hosting sites also. So here I'm going to use two websites here. GitHub I'm going to use, and I'm using another site called pythonanywhere.com I'm going to use here. So here I'll use GitHub I'm going to use here. So GitHub is used to place our code in internet. So if I want to place our projects in internet, then we can use a GitHub. Okay, companies or programmers will place their code in GitHub. From here, we'll take our project to pythonanywhere.com. So pythonanywhere.com. So this is the hosting site here. So here in this hosting site, we are going to use this will works with Linux. Okay. So in this case, while working with this Linux here, while working with Linux, here we'll execute the Linux commands here, and creating virtual environment, like many commands we are going to execute. So we'll see how the hosting is done, and how to access with the domain name. So it will be there for 3 months in their server, so we can access from any location. The same procedure is done with other hosting sites or other with other companies. The same procedure is done. Okay, and as I said, we are going to discuss about the project also. Like it will be like for like a 1 week or 10 days, and what all you will learn, you are going to implement. So it is like real time example only, because when you learn this, then you can easily work on any website, online shopping website, or like social networking site, news portal, job portals, anything you can easily work, because we are going to implement all the concepts. And if you want to have other projects, I can give you the other projects also, like websites using machine learning, then real estate projects. Like other projects are there with me. At the end of the course, if you want to work on the other projects also, I can provide the other concepts also. I can provide. Okay, and here when we are working with this, so when we are here for 2 months, whatever examples I'll give here, like all the examples will be the real time examples only. Okay, and here we can say that whatever training I'm giving here, it is project oriented training here. And here when you see the notes here, so here you can see the complete notes here. Here you can see this complete notes you can see here. So here this is day wise notes, and like chapters wise notes we can say. And I'll be sending these notes and a recorded session every day. Every day I'll send you the recorded session, and here I'll show you one example here. Like my notes will be like this, and like when I send these notes, then you can easily understand what files to create, what code to write in the files. All these you can see here. I'll show you another example. So here you can see notes is there here, and with notes examples are also there here. So from the basics to advanced, the notes will be like this. So with this, the help of the notes, you can practice easily. And I will give technical support while at the time of installation. If you are not getting any result, or if you are unable to do the example, you can discuss me in the class. You can interact me in the class, and I will give assignments also. Like for every chapter that I cover, I will give you assignments, and I will check the assignments. I will see whether students are learning or not. Okay. And what all doubts you have while practicing, if you have any doubts, you can send that problem to my mail ID. I will give you response. Like we can discuss that in the class also. Okay. So here you can learn all the things. And here one more important thing is it is like a full stack only, because in my classes we are going to use in Django classes we'll use Python language, Django framework we are going to use, and then we'll use REST API we are going to use, and UI technologies also we are going to use. As I said before, we are going to focus on designing and coding, not just writing and saying that course is finished, not like that. Okay, so here we can say that it is a full stack web development, because we are going to implement everything we are going to use here. Okay, and whatever I'm saying here, I will give the examples according to that. Okay, and this is like what all examples I'll give. All the examples are live or real-time examples only, which are useful while working with the projects. Okay, and here when we are saying about the Django here, with Python and Django, we can see many websites are developed in Python and Django, that we can see. Like students may have doubt, like in real time, where this is used, like who is going to use this. So here I'm giving top 15 websites built in Python and Django. So Django framework is used here. So here you can see this. So here Python and Django. Okay. So here you can see Netflix is there, Google is there, YouTube, Instagram, Uber, then Pinterest, Dropbox, Quora, Spotify, Reddit, Yahoo, Instacart, Discuss, Survey Monkey is there, Bitly is there. Like all these we can see here. Like top sites what we are seeing here. So when we say about websites, it is Django. Okay. And here you can see Instagram, then Google, Spotify, Netflix, Uber is there, Dropbox, Pinterest, Instacart is there, Reddit, Lyft is there. Like all these are uh, in Python, in Python and Django. These are developed here. Okay, so here popular sites are in Python and Django. So no need to worry about like if I learn Django, like how will be the market? Anybody is using Django, like all this. Like we see the demand here. So demand is increasing like year by year. Okay, so as you all know, like Python is in the top list, like the popular languages used in like Python. Okay, and here these are the things we are going to discuss in our classes. And now here I'll continue with some of the basics, and after that we are going to discuss about like what is the Django history, what are the features, all these we are going to see one by one, we are going to see. Okay, so here I just want to tell some basics. Many of you may be knowing this, but here I want to tell some basics so that some of you may have clarity like how it is working and all this. So here when we are working with websites here, so we can see millions of websites are there in internet, like crores of websites are there in internet. So every day 1,000 sites are hosted or published in internet. Okay, so here when we say about websites in internet, we'll say client, server, client system, server system, all these words we are going to use, like we'll be using it. Okay, so here when we are saying about this browser here, so browser is an application used to open the websites, like we can use Google Chrome or Internet Explorer or any other browsers we can use here. Okay, and here you can see web server is there. So browser is an application. So here we are saying web server. So web server is a software or an application where the websites are stored and executed. So server system contains web server. So web server is a software or an application used to store and to run the websites. Server system can have different web servers, not just one web server. Multiple web servers can be there. Like they are softwares, we can use it. So for Java websites, Tomcat web server is used. And for Microsoft websites like ASP.NET, ASP.NET MVC websites, IIS web server is used. Internet Information Services. And for PHP websites, Apache web server is used. Okay. And for Django, here we are having a web server. So that web server we are going to use it. Okay, so in Django classes, while learning Django, while practicing Django, while developing websites in Django, while developing applications in Django, so we are going to use this uh, web server we are going to use. Okay, so like when we use from the beginning, you'll be knowing like how to handle that web server, how it will work. So you'll get full clarity like how it is being used. So one server system can have multiple web servers like Tomcat web server, IIS web server, Django web server can be there. Like depends on the requirement, hosting is done. So here when we say about the websites here, so in Django we'll call website as application here. Web application will say web application, website, both are same. So website is a collection of web pages, or we can say files, web pages or files we can say. So here you can see static pages and dynamic pages is there here. Okay, so when we say about static pages here, when we say about the static pages, like we can call them as HTML pages, or we can call them as read-only pages. Okay, so the use of these static pages or HTML pages we can say, so they are controlled or managed by the browser. Browser can manage HTML pages or HTML files or static pages. So managing means we can move from one page to another page in the website. Like no need to communicate with the server. So browser can display the pages. Okay, so it is done. And here when we are working with this when we are working with these static pages, they are used to display the same information to all the users accessing the website. Okay, so whenever you want to display the same information whenever you want to show the same information to all the users accessing the website, then we can use static pages. We can use if you want to show news or images or advertisements or some other information, then we can use static pages, we can use it. So if you want to create HTML pages or static files, then we'll use UI technologies we are going to use here. Okay, so UI technologies will say like we'll say front end technologies or client side technologies. Will say front end or client side technologies. So when we say about front end or client side technologies, we can see HTML, JavaScript, CSS, jQuery, Bootstrap, DOM, Angular framework, React.js. Like all these comes under front end only. Okay, so in Angular we can see Angular framework. Node.js is there. Node.js is a backend. It is a, server side. Okay, so here when we are working with HTML pages or HTML files or static files, so we are going to use UI technologies or front end technologies. We are going to use client side technologies. All these all these will works in the browser. Okay, so like those who are not perfect in UI technologies, those who are not good in UI technologies, so I'm going to provide all the UI classes videos. I'm going to provide. Okay, so here we are going to focus completely on front end technologies and back end technology. Django we are going to focus. Okay, so here not just basics. Here we'll not discuss basics. We are going to discuss all very clearly, in depth. We are going to discuss. I'm telling about UI technologies. Okay, so here I'll tell what is the use of HTML, why we are using in Django, what is the use of CSS, what is the use of Bootstrap, why we are using in Django. All these we are going to discuss. And those who will join for Django classes, I'm going to provide UI classes videos also. So I'm going to send my UI classes videos. I'm going to send here. So here you can see nearly 36 videos are there. Like for with examples, notes, everything will be there. So here you can see all this. So all these videos I will be sending to your mail IDs, and also I will be sending you the notes also. Notes also I'll send. So here complete notes is available here. Complete notes is there here. So I'm going to send the notes also to your mail IDs. So here you can see the notes here. So HTML notes is there. And here you can see JavaScript complete notes is there. And CSS and Bootstrap and jQuery, DOM, like all these complete notes, like whatever you are seeing here, the complete notes I'm going to send to your mail IDs. Okay, so that you can be perfect in UI technologies, like a theory and examples also. Okay, and here when we are working with this. When we are working with these UI technologies, like here we are going to implement completely here. Okay, so here you will learn how to create the pages, how to design the pages using all these we are going to discuss. Okay, and here you can see dynamic pages are there here. So dynamic pages are controlled by the web server in the server system. Okay, so whenever you want to send a dynamic data, whenever you want to send data to the server, or whenever you want to display the data from the server in the web pages, then dynamic pages are used. So dynamic pages are controlled or managed by the web server in the server system. Okay, so like here before I've told about static pages. Like when we say about static pages, examples are home page or index page, then about us page, contact us page, site map, information about the site. All these can be static pages. Okay. So here when it comes to dynamic pages here, dynamic pages are controlled or managed by the web server in the server system here. So they are controlled or managed by the web server in the server web server in the server system. And here in with dynamic pages, from user to user, the information will change. So it won't be the same to all the users accessing the website. From user to user, information will change. So dynamic pages examples are we can say login page, registration page, then change password, password recovery, like all these comes under dynamic pages. Okay, so whenever you are getting data from the server in any page, it is a dynamic page only. Okay, and here when we are working with single page applications, in single page applications, if you want to show the information, like when you work with Gmail, after login is done, then we'll get the page, like a inbox page, like left side will get quick launch bar, like with inbox, send mail, draft, spam, all these will be there. And we can see primary social promotions, like tabs will be there, like that page will call it as a single page application. So instead of moving from one page to another page, we can do all our work in one location there. Okay, so in Gmail, when we see that inbox and other information, it is dynamic data only, because in Google Mail we can see millions of users or trillions of users will be there. Okay, so like when I connect to Gmail with my account, it will show only my emails. So that is a dynamic data only. So whenever you want to work like that, then we can use then dynamic pages are used here. Okay, so if you want to create a dynamic pages, if you want to create a dynamic websites or dynamic pages, then we can use ASP, PHP, then JSP, servlets, then ASP.NET, ASP.NET MVC, Django, then Ruby, Node.js, all these are there. So ASP is popular in 1990s. It is very popular, and PHP is also before it is very popular. Now we can see Django, like Python, Java, all these are there, like JavaScript, all these are there. Okay, so here when we say about PHP here, like we can see many websites in PHP in internet we can see. Okay, and here when we say about JSP, servlets, then ASP.NET. So JSP servlets is used in Java. ASP.NET, ASP.NET MVC is Microsoft related. Okay, Django Python based. Ruby is Node.js. All these are the backend or server side technologies. So to create a dynamic websites or to create dynamic pages, so you can learn any one of these backend technologies, any one of these. Okay, only one is enough. Like now Django is there. So using Django, you can create a dynamic web pages or dynamic sites you can develop. So students may have doubt when many backend technologies are there, like when Java, if when Java is there, .NET is there, like from many years these are very popular. Then students may have the doubt like what is the use of this Django, like how it is different from other backend server side technologies, like whether it is really useful in real time. Okay, so before I have shown you the list, like popular sites are in Python, Django only. Okay, so about the Django features we are going to discuss. I'll tell how it is different from Java, .NET, and other technologies, all these. Okay, so here when we say about the static and dynamic pages, here we are going to see some differences here. Okay, so in my classes, students will learn how to create static pages, how to create dynamic pages. All these we'll discuss. Designing, coding, all these will be there. So here when we are working with websites in internet works with HTTP or HTTPS protocol here. Okay, so HTTP or HTTPS protocol. So in internet we can see the protocols also. While working with websites, we can see this. While working with websites, we can check. Like for example, if I use this, so here if I use this here, you can see it is showing like this. HTTP durgasoft.com it is giving here. So it is showing as a not secure. So to secure the data, we need to write the code and then we have to implement. If I say gmail.com, so Gmail or any other sites will run with HTTPS. You can see log symbol. So the by default the information is secured. It will secure the information while sending the data between client and server here. Okay, so here we can see some are running with HTTP, some are running with HTTPS. So in Django, default protocol is HTTP. And while hosting the website, I will tell how to run with HTTPS also in web hosting, in web deployment. Then we'll see how to uh, run with HTTPS protocol. Okay, so when we say HTTP or HTTPS, like HTTP is very old protocol. It is 40 years old. Since 40 years we are using in a network. So HTTP or HTTPS are called as stateless protocols. So they cannot remember the values. They cannot remember the information. They cannot remember the values given in the pages in the website, and they cannot remember the page URLs of the pages opened in the website. Okay, URLs of the pages opened in the website. So we can say that they cannot maintain history. So maintaining information, maintaining history is a different mechanism. It is a separate mechanism that we are using here. Okay, so here HTTP or HTTPS are communication protocols used to transfer the data in network. Okay, so to maintain web pages values or to maintain website information, and if I want to use it across pages in the website, across multiple requests or across multiple sessions. Okay, session means the time spent for browsing the website. Okay, if I want to use information in multiple sessions, even that is also possible. Okay, so in that case, using static pages and dynamic pages, it is possible. Like for example, if you are working with static pages, HTML pages, then we can use a web storage concept in HTML5. In HTML5, web storage concept is there. Okay, so using web storage, we can store information. We can use it across pages in the website, across multiple sessions. We can use it. In JavaScript, cookies are there. Using cookies also, we can maintain the data. But when we are using web storage in HTML5 or cookies in JavaScript, that information is stored in browser, in client system. Okay, so if the information is in browser or else in client system, it is not safe. You can store limited data, and accessing the data is also slow. Okay, so to overcome these drawbacks, we can go with the dynamic pages. So when we are working with the dynamic pages or when we are working with backend or server side technologies, we can store web pages values or website information in the server. Okay, we can store the data in the server, not in browser. So if the information is stored in the server and we can access across pages in the website in multiple sessions, we can access. So in that case, the information is safe. So whenever we are working with a confidential or sensitive data, so whenever we are working with like passwords, account number, credit card number, debit card number. Then when we are working with all this, then what we can do is while working with all these, okay, when we are working with all these, then we can uh, uh, when we are working with all this, then we can store data in the server. Then we can secure the data from hackers, middleman attacks, data tampering. All these we can avoid. And in server, we can store the data in large amount of data. We can store. Accessing the data is fast. About information, I'm telling here. Okay, and here using dynamic pages or dynamic websites, we can interact with the database. If I want to send the data to the database, accessing the data from the database, managing the data, then all these we can do with dynamic pages. Okay, like interacting with the database. In Django classes, we'll discuss working with SQLite database, MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle, with different database connections, storing the data in tables, accessing. All these we are going to discuss. Okay, so in Django, Django, here you can see here. In Django, we are going to focus on static pages and dynamic pages. So for static pages and dynamic pages, file extension is same in Django. But in other backend or server side technologies, file extension will change. We can identify what page it is, static or dynamic page, because for dynamic pages we'll get like this: .asp, .php, .jsp, .aspx, like this will get. So I'll show you the example here. Like for example, if you open a DURGASOFT site, so it will show you the batches schedule, and here it will show the here it will show you the information here. So Django is there now here. When I click on this, it will show you the course contents, course syllabus. It will show here, and then here you can see this. Like here, file extension you can see Django Wilson Online ASP. Like this, it is giving here. Okay, Django Wilson Online ASP. It is giving .asp. So it is a dynamic page. This website is created using what? ASP it is created. Using ASP it is created here. Like this we can check. But here when we are working with Django, so we'll not get like this. Static or dynamic page extension will be the same. But how can we identify whether it is static or dynamic pages? If the HTML page, if the HTML file contains HTML, JavaScript, CSS, jQuery, Bootstrap, DOM, all these, it is static page. Along with all this, along with all these UI technologies, if it contains template tags. Template tags means we'll write like this: two pairs of curly braces. Will give key. It will show the value. Key value will say no. In a dictionary we are going to use. Variable also we can use. When we give the variable, then it will show the value here. And here you can see template tag code is there here. That is called as Jinja 2 code. We can say here Jinja 2 code is there that we can use here. Okay, and here when we are saying about a template tag code, like this will write within curly braces, like percentage symbol. Here we are going to write like a code for accessing the files or folders, or accessing writing if condition for loop. To access the data from the tables, we'll use it. Okay, so here what I'm saying here is, students, in HTML file, along with UI technologies, along with HTML tags, CSS, all these, if the HTML file contains template tags, or if the HTML file contains template tag coding, then it is a dynamic page. So I'll give many examples. Here we'll see many examples using template tags, template tag coding. We'll see the many examples here. So while learning Django, students, here we are going to see while learning Django. So here, when we are using Django here, like my laptop or your laptop, your system will works as all in one. So it will works as a server as well as client. So like my laptop or your laptop will works as a development system, because we are going to develop the websites using Python Django. If Django is a web server, also will work. Okay, and my our laptop works as a production server because we can run the websites, we can check the websites, and browser also will be there. So here our laptop works as a product a development system, production system, and client system all in one. Okay, but when it comes to the deployment and all, like in IT companies, development servers will be there. So in internet we can say production servers. Okay, and the clients can access the websites using the browser. All these will be there. Okay, so students, like today, I have told all the basics about Django and all this. So here, if you want to see the latest version of Django, then here I'll use djangoproject.com, djangoproject.com, and here we can see the latest version here. Here you can see Django 4.0.6. So what all examples I'll give in my class, all the examples will be in latest version of Django 4.0.6. Okay, so I'm not going to explain in old versions, Python old version, Django latest version. I'll not do like that. What all examples I'll give, all will be in latest version only. Okay, so students, today I didn't tell anything related to like Django. So tomorrow I'll tell about Django. What is the history, what are the features, how it is different from other backend technologies, other server side technologies. All these we are going to see in tomorrow's session. Okay, students. So if you want to talk to me, if you want to ask anything, if you have any doubts, please you can ask me now. If any doubts are there, if you want to talk to me, please. Any doubts, students? Akash, Manisha, Nitin, Shiva. Okay, students, then I'm signing off. And tomorrow we are going to continue with the other basics of Django will continue in tomorrow's class. Okay.